Imagine you wake up one morning and the world is completely quiet. No cars honking, no people talking, no phones ringing. You look outside and you realize something amazing and a little bit strange. You are the only person left on Earth. At first, this might seem like the greatest adventure ever. Think about it. There are no rules, no lines to wait in, no one to tell you what to do. You have an entire planet to explore all by yourself. It's like the world has become your personal playground. A giant, empty stage waiting for you to step onto it. Your first mission could be to enjoy all the wonderful things that were once hard to get. You could walk into the fanciest grocery store and find the most delicious exotic fruits. Imagine eating sweet mangoes from another country, or juicy pineapples that just arrived on a ship. These special treats won't last forever without people to care for them, so enjoy them while they're still fresh and tasty. It would be a feast fit for a king or queen, and you are the only one invited. After your delicious fruit breakfast, the real exploration can begin. You could visit famous museums, see incredible paintings without any crowds. You could drive any car you want, maybe even a super-fast sports car down an empty highway. Imagine walking into a huge, empty palace and pretending you are the ruler of the world. You could go to a toy store and build the biggest castle ever, or go to a library and have millions of stories all to yourself. This is your chance to do all the things you've ever dreamed of doing. This initial period would be a time of incredible freedom and discovery. You could wander through silent cities, marvel at the tall buildings and empty streets that were once bustling. After the initial fun and exploration, you would need to start thinking about long-term survival. The most important things you need are what we call the basics. A safe place to live, a steady supply of food, clean water to drink. Finding a home, or shelter, would be the easiest part. You could choose any house you want. However, a big city might not be the best choice. Buildings will start to crumble. Nature will begin to take over, with plants growing through the concrete and breaking windows. Next on your survival checklist is food. Supermarkets would be your best friend at first. Canned goods, dried pasta, long-lasting staples like rice and grains. You could gather all of this food and store it in a safe, dry place. This would give you a reliable food source while you figure out your next steps. Eventually, though, you might need to learn how to find food in nature. Learning to hunt with simple tools, grow your own small vegetable garden would become an essential skill for your future. Water is another critical part of your survival plan. When you first find yourself alone, you could rely on all the bottled water stored in shops and homes. There would be thousands and thousands of bottles, enough to last you for a very long time. But just like the city's power, the systems that clean and pump our water would stop working. This means that after the bottled water runs out, you would need to learn how to find and purify your own water from rivers or streams to make sure it is safe to drink. One of the biggest challenges you would face is the loss of electricity. The world would become dark and quiet at night. We use electricity for almost everything: lights, refrigerators, computers, and so much more. In a world without people, the power plants that generate our electricity would eventually shut down. You would no longer be able to keep food cold in a freezer or use an electric stove to cook your meals. You would have to learn to live like people did long ago, using candles for light and fire for warmth and cooking. Another major problem would be the lack of running water. The complex systems that pump fresh, clean water to our homes require constant work and electricity to function. When these systems stop, the water in the pipes would stop flowing. You wouldn't be able to turn on a faucet to wash your hands or take a shower. Getting around would also become a big issue over time. In the first couple of years, you could drive cars, but gasoline and diesel fuel go bad after a while. Once the fuel becomes unusable, all the cars, trucks, and boats would become nothing more than metal statues. Cars, trucks, boats. You would have to rely on simpler ways to travel, like riding a bicycle or even walking. This means your world would shrink, and traveling long distances to get supplies would become much more difficult. You would have to plan your life around the places you could reach on your own 2 feet. Learning new skills would be your most important job. The world is full of books which would become your greatest teachers. You would have to learn to be a doctor to take care of yourself if you get sick or injured. You would need to become a mechanic to fix your tools, a farmer to grow your food, and an engineer to build things you need to survive. Even if you managed to solve all the problems of survival, finding food, water, shelter, you would soon face the biggest challenge of all: loneliness. At first, being alone might feel peaceful and exciting, but after weeks, months, years, the silence would become very heavy. You would have no one to talk to, no one to share a joke with, and no one to give you a hug when you feel sad. The world would feel incredibly large and empty without other people to share it with. Humans are social creatures. We evolved to live together in groups. We work together to solve problems, build communities, and support each other. Being with other people helps us feel safe and happy. Scientific studies have shown that human contact, like talking with a friend or being part of a family, helps reduce stress and build trust. We rely on each other for more than just survival. We rely on each other for our emotional health and well-being. You could have all the food, cars, and houses in the world, but you would have no one to share your discoveries or your feelings with. You might find yourself talking to imaginary friends or animals just to hear the sound of a voice, even if it is your own. This deep need for connection is a powerful part of what makes us human. It is a fundamental need, just like food and water. So, while it's a fun idea to think about, it also reminds us to be glad that our world is full of people. Our connections with other people are what give our lives meaning and joy.